All right, so we're on here. So now what do we need? Well, you need your palette, okay? You need your project, you need your floorboard, and your paintbrush. You're only going to have one paintbrush, depending on what you're doing, all right? So we have all that, and then our paint. Your paint you're going to take from the paint tray over there, and you're simply going to put paint in here. You're not carrying this with you. It doesn't leave. You can paint at your seat where you're sitting now. You do not have to be painting up at the gray table. Sometimes that happens, but then what happens is too many people are around the gray table. So don't do that, okay? How do you know you're ready for paint?
If you've sanded your project and all the edges are smooth.
Correct. And if we looked at the sample that's over there, it matches the sample. And then you have to come to me and I have to give you the okay. Good? So everyone understands when to paint? All right. What's our next question? Switch over to the questions. All right. What do I need to start? So like I said, you need your project, your floorboard, your paintbrush, whichever one you're going to use, your palette, and whatever paint color you're going to use. Good? All right. How many colors do I paint at one time? Grace, what do you think? One. If you remember the two questions that are up there, the first one was what colors? The second one is which one is the one that you use the most. That's the word predominant. Okay? Predominant paint. So the predominant color. Someone give me their color schemes. Logan.
Blue and white.
Blue and white. What's going to be your background predominant color? So what's the color you're going to see the most on your project?
The blue.
The blue. Okay? So for Logan, Logan's going to paint his whole entire thing blue. Good? All right. Somebody else give me their colors.
Black, white, pink, blue.
Okay, and which one's going to be your predominant?
White.
White. So if I have this here, this is my pegboard, right? And we can see we have black, we have green, and we have yellow. What do you think I painted first? Darla?
Green.
Green. Okay, so I started off with my green. You paint in layers. And if you look at the aim, that's what we're talking about. We paint in layers. So I'm going to paint a base color and then move myself up to the smallest details. Why do you think we do that?
So small details, you don't actually paint over them.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about painting in lines. This, you paint your one coat, then you paint your next one, you outline it and paint it inside, okay? And then you build your way back up. Everyone understand? All right, good. That's the next question on that. Predominant color. What's predominant color? We said it. The main color, the most obvious, the one that you use the most. Number 3 should have been one color. Am I in the thing here? Jelly bean. All right. So the next one is how many coats of paint. How many coats of paint goes on the color paint that you use? Most of our paints, and you'll see why in a second, you're going to do 3 coats. You might have to do more. You need to do a minimum of 3 coats. How many coats? 3 for every single layer of paint you put on. Good? Good. How much paint should be put into the palette? The answer to that is a jelly bean quarter size. Okay? Very, very little. Again, if you look at the TV here, look how little it is. Do not fill this whole thing up. Why wouldn't we want to fill it up? Go ahead, Alex.
Because a lot of the paint would go to waste.
Yeah, and then we're going to have to be trying to either put it back in here, which never happens. It just goes down the drain and now it's wasted money. Okay? I'd rather you put a little bit, and let's just say, all this paint you'll see will spread out on here. But let's just say I run out. What can I always do? I can always put a little bit more in. And again, when you go to add more, add a little at a time. Good? All right, next question. Scroll down on that. How much paint should I put on my project? So that's going to go to this point here. The bigger brush versus the smaller brush, what do you think? Darla?
The bigger brush, you're going to put on more, and then the little brush, you're going to put in detail.
Yeah, so like for our first one, almost all of you are going to be using the bigger brush just because it's easier. Again, we're painting on the floorboard. We dip our paint in, and then we just come across in one direction. Rotate your brush around. Notice I'm making all the lines go in one direction, right? Everyone see that up there? The sides, you're painting your sides. If you're not going to paint your sides, which I don't recommend, you have to be extremely careful when you're painting your top not to get any paint on the sides. That's why we tell you to paint the sides. All right? If you choose not to, it's your choice. You have to be really careful when you paint, because once this dries, it's going to be a hard time getting it off. All right? One of the things that we don't want to do, how much paint? We want to put enough that we can see lines in it. These lines, when they go to dry, should disappear. Should. Okay? What we don't want to do is do a thing called ice to cake. Ice to cake, we look like that. Everyone see that? I need more paint just to demo. So sometimes I find people doing this. They scoop it on, and then they do this. And can you see the difference? This is icing cake. This is how you should do it. The reason we don't want to do that, this is acrylic paint, and when it actually dries, it'll flake up. So if you have a lot of paint right there, you think when it comes back and it dries, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be nice and thick. No. What it does is it actually cracks, and what you'll do is you'll come back the next day and go like this, and all your paint will fall off. Okay? So if you see this at the end, what you need to do is clean your brush off on your palette and go back over. Okay? And just keep going over your project until you feel you have it. First coat right here. Just trying to go a little bit faster here for you. The first coat, can we see white? Right? A little bit. If you look right here, you can see the white coming through. If you came up here right now, you definitely would see white coming through. Hence why we do one coat, nice and thin, and then we add a second coat and a third coat. By the third coat, nothing should be showing through. Good? You can stop video.